Welcome back for the second half of this week's show. Three ball walk, Bob, Eddie, Julio.
Yeah.
And, a lot of June draft, and we had been talking about some minor league guys and some high school guys and some college guys and next June's draft and whatnot. But then players are signed out of the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico as free agents, and then also teams go out and hold tryout camps. And someone like Jim Morris, age 35,
Yep.
with the star of the rookie, or not the
school.
star. School teacher decides, makes a bet with his players, I'm going to go out there, and at 35, gets signed, goes to the minor leagues, does well enough. And the news this week is Tim Tebow wanting to do the same thing, have a tryout for major league teams, obviously a lot younger than Jim Morris was. Your thoughts?
Well, there are a couple of things. Number one, I think people are selling Tim Tebow short as an athlete. He was a pretty good baseball player in high school. Good enough to be on a lot of pro teams' scouting charts of opportunities. Went his last year, instead of playing baseball, decided to enroll here early so he could play football, get a jump on that. Chance that if he had played his senior year, might have been drafted out of high school. So this story might have a little bit more legs to it. It's a Michael Jordan kind of thing to me. It's a guy who's reaching for something at the end. I find it difficult to believe that after this many years of not playing baseball, suddenly he's going to have a good enough at bat. This isn't a pitcher who's been throwing batting practice to his high school team
and can throw 98 miles an hour
and can throw at 98. I mean, he's trying to be an everyday position player. I don't even know what position he would play. Maybe first base, maybe the outfield. But a left-handed bat, if he can hit, maybe. But I don't see it going very far.
But then the other part, and I think it's what he can't play in the major leagues. Well, I don't think he's expecting to sign and get a contract with a major league team. I think if he is serious about it, you sign and you get sent down to the minors, and then you get, if you show promise, you get to spend time developing and seeing what happens.
But why now? Here's my other question: is why now? Why now, Tim? And if I had a chance to talk to him, I would ask Tim that question. Tim, why now? Why have the tryout in late August when A ball is over?
Well, right now,
Double A ball is over.
Right now is when the draftees from June are signing, and right now fall baseball, which is basically those guys that just signed and the new guys.
But a lot of those guys have already been playing
for a couple weeks,
for a month or so. I mean, some of those guys signed early. They've been in Double A and Single A, and they've been playing extended. The
fall baseball.
The summer league, the Florida league, the A league, the extended A league, or short A season, I guess is what it's called. So the short A season, and if you were serious about doing this, why didn't you do that prior to the draft, so that you could have been considered and then gone and played this summer? Now, essentially, he's taken another year out of it, because even if he gets signed, let's say he's good enough to get signed by somebody.
How old is he?
It's been almost 10.
09 graduate, 22.
31.
So
29. 29. So 29 years old. So you're 29. You're a 29-year-old being signed, and now you're going to be probably 30 or close to it before you actually first season in. You've missed a season. Maybe it was a late decision. Maybe it's one of those whim things of, hey, I went to the batting cage and I got the fever back in me. I understand. If I was good enough, I want to try.
And if he wants to do it, let him try to do it.
Yeah. What does it hurt?
What's it hurt? But I mean, I wrote on someone's Facebook the other day, I sure hope my kids' dreams don't get shot down as much as Tim Tebow's, because it is like the American passion for some people. Just whatever dreams he has, whatever he wants, let's shoot him down. And if that's what he wants to do, hey.
Number one, if you have enough resources. Number two, if you got enough contacts, and you can pull it off. I mean, you can't tell me that any one of us, given the opportunity to have enough contacts and enough pull to get a tryout, wouldn't say, "Hey, I'm going to try out." Yeah, I'm going. If I could get today at 54, if I could get scouts to come watch me hit, I would do it today if I could rally enough troops to come find me. That's why you have the fantasy camps. Everybody who ever played baseball dreams of playing in the major league. And so if you got one more shot at you, you think, well, there's always that in the back of your mind. What if? What if I hadn't gone and played football? And if I'd have concentrated on baseball, could I have made it? Why not give it a shot? If he's no good, he's not going to take it.
And that's what scouts bank. I mean, I don't want to say bank on, but that's what, because the draft is basically, the book tells you what is a prospect and what is not. And if we all say this guy is good, then you're going to have to say it too, because if not, you could lose, So everyone knows. However, when you do these little tryout camps, that's the old school way of finding prospects and whatever. Do you ever find any? No. It's like the biggest waste of time the majority of the time. But you know what? They'll hold them. They'll go out and hold a little camp and invite people and whatever. And if they find,
You find a guy.
And you look at him, and two questions, and you being the PR guy that was in the majors, what kind of zoo is it going to be for whatever team, if a team does sign him? What kind of circus will it be for them?
Michael Jordan, Birmingham Barons, 1994.
Right.
That's exactly what'll wind up happening.
And again, who cares?
But what's so bad about that?
No. Go ahead, so good.
Do you know how many tickets the Birmingham Barons sold that year? And not only the Birmingham Barons, but every Southern League team when he was on the road.
Who didn't want him playing? So if you're a Southern League team, I say that if it were me and I were the Rays front office, I would sign him tomorrow. I wouldn't even wait for the tryout. I would just sign him, because next year when he starts out in A-ball, or he starts out in Double-A. I mean, send him Double-A.
Well, you can't, because you're still in the business of developing prospects, and you can't sit there and take one of your outfield spots to some guy that's not a prospect. You've got to make sure.
But how do you know he's not a prospect? How do you know? You don't know.
Start him in. Well, yeah.
But I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying.
Or Jacksonville. You said in Jacksonville.
It's Double-A for the Marlins.
For the Marlins. Who's the A team for the Rays? Whoever it is. You send him to that team. You can't tell me that the first day won't be a sellout.
Oh, every game will be a sellout.
And you have made your money back you've made that single-A owner extremely happy.
Yeah.
And now if he gets him for 4 weeks and he progresses and he goes to Double-A,
you send him up.
You send him up. And if he's not, you let him play until he decides.
You let him go.
Yeah, you're like, hey, it was a great opportunity.
And it's not like he's never played baseball his entire life and just goes, oh, I just want to try this. I mean, he's played in high school. He was pretty good from what I've read.
Well, actually, today I was just looking at something about an hour ago about Urban hiding his. What was it? Did you see that?
Yeah, he hid his baseball letters.
He hid his baseball letters to get him to come back his senior year in case he was, possibly getting drafted.
And the same thing. I mean, he talked him into signing early to come because he was afraid he was going to sign baseball. So I think you got to give him a shot. And if you're a Florida team, I mean, I heard this today on ESPN, which was a great thing. I thought, if you're a Florida team, what do you have to lose by giving him your last slot on all those drafts? I mean, it's a Piazza story.
Exactly.
Right. You take him because he's a friend of somebody, or this time you take him because he's a PR bonus for you, and you see if he develops. And if not, you've lost the last draft pick that you would have.
And to what Eddie said before, I think the three biggest phrases a loser uses is woulda, coulda, shoulda. You can't sit there and go, you don't want to be 40 and go, oh, I would have done this, or I could have done this, or I should have done this. I used to have a friend like that. He'd look at somebody playing basketball. Oh, I could have played college basketball. I'm like, you haven't been to a college game. What are you talking about? Yeah. At least he's doing it, and he can move forward. And he's an athlete.
And then what'll be sad is when he does,
and ESPN
he sells out the parks. People are buying tickets to go there and boo him, which is
so be it.
He is a very polarizing figure.
Completely.
There is no middle of the road with
him. But the thing is either he's good enough to play or he's not. And that was the thing with Jordan. I mean, when Jordan got to Double-A, he wasn't good enough to be in Double-A. There's no way Michael Jordan should have been in Double-A baseball. But you know what? He got better as the season went on in Birmingham. But the people in Birmingham loved him, embraced him. I mean, I know because that's my hometown. They absolutely adored him. The ballpark got built. It got full. I mean, most of what that now you're playing in the SEC tournament at Hoover Met, that wouldn't have been there had it not been for Michael Jordan being there in 1994. That franchise would not have developed like it has. And so who knows what would happen if, whoever signs him sends him
Sure.
to whatever park, and that saves their minor league franchise for that place. Is that a bad thing for your organization? Absolutely not. Sign the kid. Give him a chance. Hey, if you don't like him, that's fine. If he strikes out, boo him. I mean, if that's your thing, if you go to boo him because he strikes out, if he's a horrible player, he's a horrible player. But you don't boo everybody else that strikes out. So, if you're going to a minor league game to boo people who strike out, you're going to be booing a lot.
Did we cover, now talking about young prospects and everything like that, did we cover your boy, Trevor Story, last week?
We talked a little bit about Trevor Story being out.
Yeah, and lost the season. Now, I'll tell you what.
But you had another guy, but you said the wrong name last week.
I said Hunter Ruth, who's the local prospect who is, flipped from South Carolina to Florida. He'll get drafted in the first few rounds, and we'll see if he winds up coming here to Florida after the 2017 season.
Nah.
And,
I'm saying it now.
But the other guy that I saw, and something for you baseball fans this Sunday, the Perfect Game All-American game, Petco Park. They actually got there. I saw on Hunter's Facebook, loving San Diego and getting there, and they're starting to play. And the game is Sunday on MLB Network. I want to say at 2:30 in the afternoon. Fun baseball. I mean, it's basically you've got 50 first-team All-Americans from all over the country, but the number one guy is not Hunter Ruth, and the Hunter name is, the number one guy is Hunter Green. Two-way All-American, throwing about 97, 98 miles an hour, and then a shortstop who can flat-out hit. And I was actually looking at the projected first round for next year's draft, and obviously high school players, it's too soon to sit there and take a high school junior and say that. So you've got, and I can't remember the number one guy. I want to say it's someone from Virginia. Number two was, I'll get to, and then number three was Alex Faedo, right-handed pitcher from right here at UF, but number two was Hunter Green. Already hasn't played a game in his senior year in high school, and they're expecting him to go number two. Where you wind up going number one, kind of like the outfielder from California that went number one. If you're a high school player and you go number one overall,
you're moving up pretty quick.
Those are the A-Rod we talked about earlier, the Ken Griffey Juniors, the Bryce Harpers. They don't waste the number one overall pick on a high school kid unless it's a can't miss.
Well, yeah, I mean everybody's a can miss. But yeah, as good as you can get, he's a can't miss. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. Kid blows out his arm, gets hurt, whatever. But that could happen. But he's expected to move up. And the good thing about that, if you're selected there, you're going to get every opportunity to fail.
Oh,
you're going to have to fail a lot not to keep getting moved up. And unlike a Tim Tebow or whoever you draft as the last Mr. Irrelevant on your draft, the 75th round selection by the Atlanta Braves is Bob Smith. If you select Bob in the 75th round and Bob hits 120 his first year, he's like, Bob, you're not coming back.
No, see.
But if that kid hits 120 his first year, he's coming back next. He's going to get another shot. In fact, he's going to get sent to winter ball, and he's going to get worked out, and then he's going to come back.
Sure, but there's about 4 or 5 million reasons why you want to give that kid another chance.
Absolutely. It's all about the money. It's all about the money.
And when you have that kind of investment in a player. But the reason I brought him up is your guy, Trevor Story, no longer a Story. So for the next year, we're going to follow Hunter Green. And hopefully we can find his high school stats. But watch him this Sunday. And I don't know when this show will be up on the air, but
hopefully by Friday. But
the high school All-American, second All-American game. He played at Wrigley Field in the Under Armour All-American game and pitched the first inning. It was pitched the first inning, played the other 8 at shortstop, and it was sick.
It's like, what do you do with him if you're the major league team that has his rights? Do you take him as a pitcher? Do you take him as an infielder? Or can he be a two-way player in the major leagues and be shortstop, and then he comes in and closes?
He pitches every few.
Or he comes in and closes in the ninth.
Well, I remember Washington State, and they actually, Brian Johnson, who pitched here for Florida and was the DH and everything, won the award named after this Washington State player. And when I want to say it wasn't the Mets, it was the Blue Jays that drafted John Olerud, they didn't know whether they were going to put him as a pitcher or as a first baseman. And eventually he wound up playing first base, traded to the Mets, had a real good career. Yep. But John Olerud, the John Olerud Award is the two-way player award in college, and they didn't know either. And according This kid, the ceiling is way higher than it was for a two-way All-American like John Olry.
This Saturday, Jacksonville Commonwealth Quality Inn, last show there ever. Come see me. I'll be there from 9 to 4. 9 to 4, I think. Yeah, but Commonwealth, Jacksonville Sports Cards, greatest card show in North Florida.
It's a great opportunity to be there. Hey, had fun being with you guys. It's getting crunch time. Football's happening.
Yeah.
That means baseball's coming down to an end for some of us. That's a sad day. But if you're a Braves fan, that means you're 1 year closer to a new ballpark.
Yeah.
Have fun.
3
Go out
times
to
the
the
ticket price.
ballpark and see you later. Play ball.
Thanks for watching.